Hi, everybody.
I hope.
Hi.
Michael,
Yes.
Hey, all.
Stephen was not on the email you sent out. So in the future, can you make sure he's on there for the link?
Oh, okay, I will do.
Thank you. So we should have quorum. We got confirmation from everybody except for Darren.
I have a timer that's clicking nearby. Can anyone hear that? Because if you can, I'll move it.
No.
No.
Okay, you have to leave, Stephen, at 5?
I have to leave at 5, yeah. And the timer's for putting something in the oven to warm it up before I go.
Okay.
Those are too much details.
Leftover turkey.
No, it's actually Mexican spoon bread. It's delicious.
Mm.
Oh,
Yeah.
Tamale pie, but better.
This wasn't a virtual meeting. You could have brought some.
I know. Really, we'll have to start meeting in person again.
One day. We grab our agenda. That'll be good. Give me a minute.
Yeah, I like in-person meetings. So when I leave, are we still going to have a forum?
Oh, no, we've got quorum right now.
But when I leave though, is
Yeah,
that
well, there'll be 5 of us after you leave. The only one that's missing is Darren.
okay?
Michael, do you want to start the meeting? No.
Maybe we should just start, huh?
Yeah. Michael, are you recording? Yeah. Okay. Philip, do you want to do this one?
Okay, let me open the
If you want, I can do it too.
agenda. I am good. No. 9th, maybe in October. Okay, item 1, call to order. So let's do a roll call. Paolo,
I'm here.
Stephen,
Yes, here.
Hope,
here.
Grace,
Here.
Mitch,
Here.
and then Philip. So we have 6 of 7 present. We need for quorum 4. So we have quorum. Then approval of item 2, approval of the last minutes. Anybody makes a motion?
I didn't.
I motion to
I'll
approve.
second that.
Okay, sorry. Hope motions, and who seconds? Stephen seconds. So then we vote. Paolo,
Yes.
Grace,
Yes.
Mitch,
Yes.
Philip, yes, and then Stephen,
Yes.
Hope, obviously yes. Hope,
Yes.
okay, good. So the minutes have been approved unisono.
Who motion?
Hope motion, Stephen second.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I'm
So
looking for the agenda online.
We
I'm
have
not-
6-0.
Yeah. 6-0. Unisono. Then I think I dropped over item number 2, which is review and approval of the 11/14/24 draft legal action report and meeting minutes action. So the draft legal action report, is everybody aware of that?
No.
Mr. Chair, it was actually supposed to be the legal action report. The draft was because I was still working on it and I forgot to take it out. It's
Yeah,
actually-
because the it's weird. The agenda says September 9.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
okay, so
it's-
that's not on the agenda, right? Yeah. Mhm.
No. It's
Got
act-
it.
Yeah.
So we can go to agenda item 3, call to the audience.
I did not receive any public comments before this meeting. So there's
it.
nothing to report.
Yeah. Then agenda item 4, the reviews. There we have on the agenda 350 South Convent Avenue. Replace a broken front door with new steel door design, door material and compatibility, full review, contributing resource, estimated time, 30 minutes. Is anybody here to present the project?
Yes, I am.
Okay, do you have anything to screen?
Well, no, but I assume that everybody got a copy in the agenda of the, oops, hang on, let me get rid of that.
There's no link on the agenda, Michael. Can you pull it up or send out a link?
It should have been in a file, with a PDF attached. But I can walk you through it if for some reason it wasn't in there. Basically, come up with a proposal that Line of Space Architects created, and so what it does, this is
Hold on,
Yeah,
sir.
wait, yeah.
Mr.
I
Chair,
see it. Yes,
Okay.
you send
I
us
was,
a,
I was kind of concerned. Okay.
but there
So,
is no
Who's
link.
presenting?
Yeah, exactly. But where's the link?
I just
It's
put
not
the
out.
link in the chat. The bottom one will open to the line and space document he was referring to.
The bottom line.
There's 2 links that I put in the chat, the agenda and then this
Okay,
presentation.
yeah, the agenda, because the agenda usually has it, but not this time, yeah. Okay, got it.
It was not on the agenda. I sent it out.
I didn't find it on the agenda. Grace, did you see it on the agenda?
No, I was looking at the website.
Yeah. Okay, you would need to enable the participant sharing, Michael. If Mark can't open it, then we'll open it.
well, if everyone can see it, or can everyone see it?
Is it
It's
Mac?
better to look at it together.
Yeah.
Michael, can you give us? the
Yes, I
chance
want to
share?
make you, is that Mac? I want to make you Mac the co-host so you can share. You can proceed to share, sir.
I think Mark doesn't. Mark, do you have the possibility to share online?
All I've got right now is
Okay.
the
Michael,
printout.
can you let me share? Then I
Sure.
can show it. Yeah.
Okay, let me take Mac off
Yeah.
and yeah, okay. You should be good to go, Mr.
Yeah. Tell me when you see it.
We can
Yep.
see it.
See it.
So, Mark, just walk us through.
Okay, well, this addressed the 2 major concerns. One is the absence of the transom, and this now includes the transom, and this is in front of the door. There's enough space there to place this. And then there's a screen door in front of that, which is a black screen. And so it completely screens any feature of the door from the street. And it's a retractable screen door because obviously one swinging out would be a significant hazard. So this is a screen door that otherwise operates like any screen door, except it goes right to left and then closing back to right instead of swinging. And as I say, it includes the transom, so the proportions are consistent with other doors in the immediate area that have a door and a transom and are that approximate total height. And then he provided another drawing which shows it partially open, and then the one after that shows it completely open. And then, because obviously you'd open that, push open my door, and then you close the screen and close the door.
So all you're doing is adding this screen.
The screen and the transom, yes. And that conceals the door.
So you're keeping the door that's there, you're suggesting, and then covering it with this system.
Yes,
right?
So that as you're going past it, it looks like any of the other doors on the street that might have a screen door or security door and also have a transom.
And the screen is for mosquitoes, or what is this for?
No, it's a screen. Well, yeah, hopefully that season it'll function that way. But no, it's a screen door that literally and figuratively screens the door behind it, the door in question.
What for?
The steel door that's presently there.
So
And there were concerns that it was too high and it did not have a transom. So this resolves that appearance from the street.
Maybe you
yeah,
weren't here.
Philip, this one, I'm sorry, go ahead, Paul.
No, go ahead, Grace.
Yeah, this one started off as a violation, Philip. So they replaced a transom and a wood door with this steel door with this kind of asymmetric vertical light. So this presentation is how can he mitigate that without removing the door and replacing it?
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
So you're saying you're hiding it with this retractable screen?
And the transom. So it would not normally be visible from the street, only briefly when somebody entered.
So Mark, you said that screen door does not swing out. I don't understand how
It's a retractable door.
So
Retractable
like,
screen. So it retracts to the left. You would grab the handle, which is on the right,
ooh.
and then pull it to your left.
Nick,
Exactly.
coils on the left.
Yeah.
So it has a
Or
track
right,
on the
okay.
top and the bottom, and
Correct.
also a track on the right to lock into.
Yeah, correct.
And that's all aluminum.
Yes, anodized aluminum. And it has an automatic feature so that once you've opened it, as you let go of the handle, it closes automatically.
And you put in the metal door.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The
It's
door was
strange, right?
modified.
To try to hide something that you violated with, and then you are basically adding another element that, yes, if it's one of the Sonoran screen doors, right? That's what you're trying to mimic?
Yes, I'm trying to create a screen door that, along with the transom, provides the appearance from the street of any other door on the street. So you pass by, you have no idea.
But how often is that screen door closed?
Well,
You've got your
it
customers
automatically
couldn't enter, right, with the screen door?
It's an automatic close on it. It's like a spring on it. So you open it, you let go of the handle, and it will close.
But you can lock it on the left side in the open condition, probably.
No, not that I'm aware of. The only locking mechanism is on the right side. There's no latch at all that would allow you to keep it open that I'm aware of.
That sounds, I mean, we have worked with these as mosquito screens, and that's, yeah, I've never heard about this kind of functionality. Did you send us a product specification?
No, I didn't.
No.
But the architects located one, and I'm sure I could get it from them. This is Line and Space. They're a very reputable firm.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
What are the materials? I'm curious, is
Um,
that wood framing?
Yes, wood framing, yes. And then he's showing it here as raw wood because it would be up to you all to decide what, if any, color it got painted.
What if we approve the screen but not the door in the back? Then it doesn't serve you anything, right? You are trying to get the door approved by us approving the screen, or what's the? I
Well,
don't
no,
fully
I'm
understand the
trying to,
strategy.
since the concern is the visibility, what you see from the street, I'm trying to make sure that it now is what you see from the street is compatible with everything else on the street.
You have, I mean, do you say you're saying? I mean, I have a door 3 houses down the street, right? We don't have a screen door. We have a nice wooden door that
Mhm.
we put in ourselves.
Yeah, and some of the places in the neighborhood have a security door, which
Frozen.
is wrought iron and screen.
Right.
But I didn't want to do a wrought iron and screen door.
Mm.
And this, as I say, if you're walking past or driving past with it, there's nothing to indicate that it's anything other than compatible visually with the neighborhood.
So, I mean, one thing is if we determine that the steel door is not compatible, that's one thing, right? Then the other is, can we trust what you are putting on there, that it will always be close to fully hide the door? I mean, I think it's a bit absurd, to be honest.
Well, no, it
You
should,
know.
I beg your pardon. I wouldn't call it absurd. It's a
Uh-huh.
retractable screen door. It's spring loaded. It will close automatically.
Yeah, we would have to trust your word right now because I've never seen a system like that. And sorry, I'll use a.
Okay, well,
We
if
work
you
with
want to
screen
continue
doors, you
this
know.
again, that's fine. Or I can go ahead and get you the specs between now and next meeting, or you could approve it provisionally. That is contingent on my providing you with the product information that shows that the screen door closes automatically.
Is
I
there
have
any
no
further
intention
questions on
of,
this, or is there any further questions on this?
yeah.
Yeah, I guess
My question, oh, go ahead, Grace.
going back to the development zone question, right? So when we do the evaluations, number one question that we ask is this compatible? Are there precedents of this in your development zone? So do you have precedents that you could show us of screens similar to this in the development zone?
Of screen doors? Yeah, I can. It's interesting because I was told that my development zone was 2 blocks of Convent, but when I went online, it showed that because the building's on a corner, it's 1 block of Convent, then it goes down Simpson and turns to a short distance down Meyer Street. And across from my door on Simpson, there's a house there that has a door with a screen on it.
But just so you know, it would have to be historically compatible. And this would have to be a contributing structure, that other house. You would have to show that. And there would have to be some historic value to what you are using as a reference. And that's just for the screen. We still have to approve or not the door, I think. I don't know how we can approve a screen and just let the door aside. And yeah.
Well, I don't know how the door is a problem if it's no longer visible.
Well, then please send us the specification of that screen, because all the screens I know, you see what's going on behind. I mean, that's the nature of a screen. These mosquito screen normally you don't
This
want
is a black anodized screen. It sounds like what I need to
No.
do is get you the product information to satisfy your concerns. I'd be happy to do that.
I think that
From
links to
from
my
my
concern. It seems hard to use. I'm worried about people going in. I can see it wanting to be propped open for ease of entry.
No, that would be a violation. I have no intention of doing a swap out here and doing something to deliberately antagonize you, which it would if I kept that propped that screen door open or found a way to lock it open. I don't intend to do that. I don't like my motives being impugned. I do not intend to do
The
that.
next renter might do it, right? Or so. We don't know that in the moment. We can't go with. I think I couldn't go with just that the word, you know. And these things are finicky. If they have a spring and so on, they tend to fail at some point. They fail much earlier than your steel door. And then the neighborhood is facing the steel door, right?
Well, obviously, I'm going to maintain the property. My landlord and the property manager would not be happy if I had anything that quit functioning, interior or exterior of the building.
Is this a Don Rawlings property?
Correct.
Yeah, and he usually does really high quality doors and everything. I can't even imagine.
Yes, and in fact, I'm glad you mentioned that because the gentleman who did this door did a door on Meyer Street for him and did quite a bit of ironwork on that street, stuff which would not any longer be permitted if the current regulations were in place. But this is done by the same individual who did the iron work for the Rawlings family over many decades. So it's high quality.
Yeah, but it also is an aesthetic high quality, the work that you see around the houses. I don't see this in.
I need to weigh in, and this is painful for me because I've known Mark for many decades and we're friends. But we're commissioned to protect the historic, the neighborhoods as a historic resource. And, you know, the door, and you're right, Mark, the stuff that Tom Bredlow did decades ago is, you know, quite attractive and actually, you know, adds to the texture of the neighborhood, but they're not historic. And you're right, they would not be probably approved today. But I think what the board is struggling with is the door itself, not this, you know, the screen door maybe has some issues, but the door itself is what we're struggling with. And you know, there's a similar situation when we consider fencing around, say, the rear or side of a property. And we've had this come up several times over the last few meetings where someone said, well, yeah, this doesn't look exactly historic, this window or this door or whatever, but I'm going to have a fence. And we can't rely on that fence ongoing in perpetuity. And so I think what individuals here are concerned with is we can't rely on that screen door in perpetuity to you know, hide the door that's not historic. And so that's I think the underlying issue here, if I getting it straight. And again, I don't like doing this, but that I think is the issue. Sorry.
Okay. I have a question, and it's indirectly related to this, but it does have some bearing on it because of the concern about keeping things historically accurate. And it's a question I've not been able to get answered anywhere. There's no question that in this neighborhood, the purples and oranges and yellows and blues and greens are not historical. You look at old photos and everything was a simple sand color plaster. At some point, some iteration of the historic board decided to allow that non-historical or ahistorical feature, which has literally shifted the complexion of the neighborhood. And
That is absolutely true. And we actually talked about that in our last meeting. And in fact, if you want to go back farther, there was no stucco. If you look at old photos, pretty much the whole neighborhood was unstuccoed adobes.
Mhm.
And so you're right. And I sat on the board in the 80s and 90s, and there were a lot of things. First of all, the board was really kind of lax back then. But also, we never addressed color. And I don't know if that was an oversight or what, but
Well, actually, when I built my house at the corner of Convent and Kennedy, there were three recommendations made. One is they had to be double hung windows and they had to be wood. They couldn't be metal painted to look like wood. The second was that the scuppers had to go out onto the street, although it was agreed that it was much more pedestrian friendly if they didn't. And the other was that it had to be plastered in the prevailing tones of the neighborhood. And that was a requirement back in 1981 when I submitted my plans.
Yeah, I came on in about 80, kind of the mid 80s or like 84 or something. But anyway, yeah, and you know, there's a lot of things that don't fit. You know, there's a lot of things that have been built without any permitting, without any historic review, and things like that. And so, you know, that's been an ongoing problem. And so it's not an easy, you know, kind of looking at precedent can be very confusing.
So, few things. One thing, Mark, you said historically accurate. That's not what the board requires. It requires historically compatible. That's the first thing. So that's another discussion, obviously, right? You can make a historic accurate, and that's one thing, but we wouldn't even support too much a mimicking of the old, you know, that's not what we are asking for either. That's one thing. The others, yes, I think you're right on the colors and all that. We would love to enforce that. We just try to. We put out complaints, and this is leading nowhere on this house on Convent and Kennedy, the same corner that you were talking about, I guess. But we are now the board of December 2024, right? So we are gonna do it to those rules, and we cannot influence our decisions of what previous boards did. You know, that's just not. I don't think that would be accurate.
Well, I've made my argument, so take your vote and we'll go from there.
Is anybody up for a motion?
Let me ask, so Philip, you're saying one of us puts in a motion to approve or to disapprove? That's the
Or
next
to
step here.
postpone, or you can make the motion can have a lot of components. You know, we can talk about the door, we can talk about the screen, just you know, out of this mood and whatever we hear here and then arguments, we can work with that, you know.
Yeah, so I guess a question for Michael on that in terms of what the next step should look like. We've seen this, at least I've seen it now 3 times. So I don't know if this does end up in, you know, the board not recommending approval, what would be the next step?
They would go. Well, Michael, you go. Michael, there still?
Michael, your speaker is off if you're.
From my screen, it looks like he's not present.
I see him.
Now he's
I see it
coming.
right. Oh, there he is. He's coming.
Okay, good.
Okay, members of the board, per code, you can continue the review of the case one time. When it comes back to you for a full review and you accept to review it, you will have to review and make a decision. You have to take action. That is why it is on the agenda as an item for action. Failing to take action today, staff will have to move this case to the next board, which will be the plans review subcommittee. The board cannot continuously continue the case unless the applicant so asks the board to do so. If the applicant asks the board to continue the case, then the board can continue the case. But if the applicant does not ask the board to continue the case, the board will have to make and take an action today. But you cannot vote to continue again.
Got it. Okay,
And
thank you.
another question for the motion. It says replace broken front door with new steel door design. So we're still making now a action on the old replacement that was the violation. Or are you talking here about the screen in the action item in the agenda?
I'm referring to the agenda, the action on the agenda. The case before you, it's to abate a pending zoning violation.
Okay.
The applicant had put in a door which was not consistent with your design guideline. This case started as a minor review. When it was done as a minor review, the applicant was given many options and many creative ways to resolve this. It has come before the board, and I believe that this design presented today is a reaction to the discussion last time from the board. These were some of the proposals that the board actually put forth for the applicant to consider. And I believe that the applicant has considered those actions, that direction that was given by the board. And the idea being, I believe the board felt at the time that even if the applicant were to keep the door, there should be some way of trying to make the door not visible, which I believe the applicant is trying to do that by the retractable screen door. And also, the door that is existing now took out a character-defining feature of most of the doors around this development zone, which has transom on top. The applicant has proposed to put a wood around the door and to create a transom on top, which will be consistent with what other doors within this development zone has. I believe this is what the applicant is trying to achieve by this current design. That is my take on it. And again, in terms of the process, if the applicant, because you want the specs from the applicant to guarantee that the retractable door will not be left open, he can submit that. As he has said, he can submit that. Or if you want any further thing, you want him to show proof of other doors within the development zone that have screens on that door, which was not provided as part of this documentation, I believe the applicant can also submit that, which the applicant has said to you he can. I think this is where we are. And I'm just talking as a staff. And remember, as a staff,
Correct.
I do not make decisions here. The board makes decisions.
So before somebody makes a motion, maybe we should know from Mark if he would be fine if the motion asked you to delay and come again. Or if you rather want an action item on, you know.
I would be happy
yes or
to,
no.
I'd be happy to delay and come again and provide the specs on the door for you all to examine and consider.
You mean the screen?
Correct. Mhm.
So if,
You know,
Can you flip through those photos to see what it looks like in the rendering?
Right.
So is that like a solid black screen?
Yeah, there are micro openings in it, but it's yeah, anodized black, and it's a kind of material that you can walk up to and put your nose on it, and you really can't see through it. And
you're
it's
saying because,
Bifolds to the side. Is that how that works?
oh yeah, there's like a
roll.
retractable mechanism on the left side that in lieu of hinges, it has a retractable on the left side there that it rolls into.
It's a roller, a vertical roller, Paolo. We have done these for mosquito screens, and
I'm
they go to
confused
the
about how
side. Yeah,
that would auto close.
It's
me
just,
too.
it's spring loaded. So when you pull it out, there's a little bit of, and lock it on the right. There's a little tension on it, which keeps it flat. And so when you release it, it rolls back in. It's like a,
So it auto opens.
yeah,
The spring doesn't
Auto
close the
closes.
door.
It auto closes. He says, but that's what
Yeah.
it would basically have a pulley.
yeah. Yeah, I'll be happy to provide the specs for it. And if I can find one installed somewhere, or Line and Space can, I
Yeah.
can provide a video clip as well.
So
You know, that's also going to be, I mean, we don't approve aluminum clad windows or wood clad aluminum windows. And this is pretty much the same material that we don't approve. You said it's anodized aluminum?
Just the screen, the frame is wood.
and it's such a shame. Doors are one of the big signifiers of the barrio, yeah, right, historically, and that we can do really a difference there with nice doors. And this is such a lost opportunity now. Yeah.
And the problem with this retractable screen door is that it's dependent on mechanical, components, and those don't last forever either.
Yeah, I'm well aware that I may have to replace it after a few years. That sort of goes with the territory. Even the standard screen door, you wind up having to replace at least the screen every so often, if not the whole door.
But neither one of us are going to be around forever, Mark. And so a future tenant may decide not to replace the mechanical.
Then they'd be in violation. And
Well,
they would have to do that.
no, they would actually, yeah, but they would be revealing the door behind it, which is the original
Which
problem.
I don't think how we can ever approve this without then giving approval on the door behind. Like that's the logic I don't understand of this whole suggestion.
Well, I tried to comply with the very specific issues that were raised at the last meeting, and I believe I've done that. But now we're on to a different area. So you tell me what I should be doing.
Yeah, Philip,
Did
I don't
we
know
talk-
if you were at that meeting, but we gave Mark's representative the option of concealing that door. And so that's why Mark's here with this. But I get your logic, Philip. I think it's well-founded. Hope, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, that's what I should pull up the notes. I can't remember that. I don't remember the discussion about concealing it and what we said.
Michael, do you have it's not in the minutes. I
There's
don't see it.
the recording is on YouTube. If you want to listen to the whole
Yeah.
meeting record, it's on the city website. You can listen to it on the web on the tape. And my summary in the legal action report, I believe, which I sent to Matt and all of you had it. I believe this was a spirit in which, in my listening to a discussion, this appears to me like this was the spirit of that meeting. Again, you're more than welcome to listen to the YouTube tape recording of the meeting.
So when we talked about a screen door in that meeting, someone expressed concern that the door wouldn't be able to, because it's recessed so far in, that a hinged swinging door wouldn't work. And so I don't think we considered the possibility of a retractable door.
Yeah.
We wanted, or I mean, I think what we were looking for was a screen door that would look like screen doors did in the past. That so I think that was part of the discussion. As far as swinging.
Yeah, members of the board. One of the things that the board does not do is that the board does not design the project for applicants. So the board talked about the screen door. The applicant has provided you with a screen door. As to whether it is retractable, it goes this way or that way. I don't think the board was specific as to how the door has to be designed.
I just don't understand the logic. If it's to put another door in front of the door, fine, you know, then it's a new door and we can evaluate a new door. If it's about screening, a screen door, which is always a screen, which has some translucency or some transparency, then it's still about the door behind too. I don't know how we can approve a violation of code without addressing that door, because the screen door, as Stephen said, is not, it's not something we can rely on. And
Yeah, I'm looking at the meetings or the minutes from that meeting, and it says a motion to continue was made by me with the condition that the applicant research other doors within the development with compatible design. Motion was seconded by Mitch and it passed 6-0. So with that, I mean, I think we were looking at a complete redesign of the door.
Well, I have a question about that because when I looked online, and I understand you're now looking at a possibility of a different idea for what the development zone is for buildings on a corner. But prior to then, and I believe it's still in effect, it would come down Convent, go down Simpson, and turn on Meyer. Now, there was no scale for it, so I don't know if it goes as far as the door that Kelly Rawlings had Mr. Bedlow make, which is metal and actually repoussé design or not. I don't know how far it goes because there's no scale. But
it's pretty simple. It's outlined in the code, how a development zone is evaluated, or the outline of it. There's no
mind sending me
black
that
and white,
link?
you know? Yeah.
Would you mind sending me that link? Because I found it at one time and then I went back and I was unable to retrace my steps. So if you could send me that, I would be very appreciative. Or somebody could.
Michael, is that something the city can provide as a service?
No. It's on our website. I can send it to you.
No.
Okay, great.
If you're a corner property, you will go in two directions, several directions with your development zone. If you're inside the block, then it's only that stretch from one crossing to the other.
Mhm.
Anybody ready to make a motion?
And just to clarify, I would like to continue it to see if we can't reach a resolution here.
Okay. If it is at the request of the applicant, yes, the board can continue the case at the request of the applicant.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about continuing it just because it seems like we've been having the same conversation
Yep.
every time.
Okay, I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to decline the proposal and to decline the door that was in violation, and just based on the assumption that a screen door is not enough to fix a door that is not compliant with the neighborhood.
I'll second that.
I think we can make alternative motions, right, Michael, now? Or do we need to
Yeah.
vote and then somebody can do an
No.
alternative?
Once you vote, you cannot change. Right now, you
Yeah.
can discuss and make amended motion.
Exactly.
I suggest that the board should also consider the request for the applicant to come back to you before leaving here, that you give him clear and straight direction as to what he can do in order to get this thing approved. The applicant is showing you the intent, the willingness to work with you to get this thing approved. But again, it is still at your discretion to choose to recommend denial, which is one of the things you can do. And then it will move to the next board. Ultimately, the director will make a final decision on this. What you are doing today, you are making a recommendation. Plans review will make a recommendation. The director of planning and development services will make a final decision. And just bear in mind, the director of planning and development services can send the case back to you.
Yeah.
Can go with the recommendation to give a deny letter, can set aside your recommendation and that of plans review and make an independent decision either to approve or to deny. So those are all the options that the director will have, depending on what you do from here. So I don't want anybody to feel bad, even if you make a recommendation, either way, don't feel bad about it because you are making just a recommendation.
Okay, any amendments to the motion or an alternative motion? Okay, it seems not, then we can vote, right? Michael?
Yeah. If there's no amendment to it, if there's no further discussion, you can proceed to a vote.
Yeah. So let's vote on the motion to decline the application on the basis that the door is not compliant and that the screen door, that there's no confidence that the screen door will correct the situation. We'll vote. Grace,
Yes.
Hope,
Yes.
Mitch,
Yep.
Stephen,
Abstain.
Paolo, you seconded, so yeah, yes. Philip, yes. So there is a 5, if I count right, 5-1 vote. So the motion has passed. The motion to decline has passed.
Now, functionally, what's next for me?
The next step would be that these same plans will be reviewed by the plans review subcommittee. They will also make their own independent recommendation. And then the final stage would be the case will be taken to the director who will make a final decision.
Thank you.
2 more reviews, Mark.
Actually, one more.
Well, yeah, and then the director.
Yeah, the directors, when it gets to the level of the director, is basically a staff and the director decision. You will not need to present there, but you will be required to present a plans review subcommittee.
Okay. Then no more reviews on the agenda, correct?
No more, yes.
Michael, yeah. So then we go to agenda item number. So, well, thank you, Mark.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. I'm gonna log off now. Thank
Yeah,
you.
Bye.
I
5, agenda item 5 is the design guidelines, next steps.
have an update on this. So I went through them and basically did a cleanup. I didn't, of course, make any content changes. They're still not done. So first of all, for all of you who have the link, and I can share it, I'll actually copy it right now. What I did was I went through and edited it, and then I accepted my changes because I couldn't figure out another way to evaluate where I left things. But if you go into the version history, I'm just gonna check this right now. If you go back to, well, I guess it's May, you'll see the version that existed before I started. So there is a record of where it was. I just, want to make sure everybody has confidence in anything I did. So, and I'm going to copy this link right now. There are still some questions in there and missing pieces of information. And I have a list of them, and I can, I kind of want to send it to all of you, but Michael, I'm not allowed to do that, right? I need to send it to you. And okay, so it seems to me that I should send a written summary of this to Michael, and then he can share it out to you. The next thing I want to do is double check the table of contents and and make sure it matches up with the sections that are in there. I think there's a lot of duplicated information in there still. I dared to take out a little bit of it, but I didn't go overboard. So I think someone else should take a look at it with that in mind. It's a very long document, and I don't know if that's normal, if that's what people, expect. And let's see, what else did I have in my notes? Well, these missing pieces of information like Adobe, how to, repair and build with Adobe. That's a huge missing piece of information. There's some maps that need to be added, things like that, some links. But I think we're getting close. And I don't know if we want to set some deadlines for ourselves, because I know I've heard you say, Paulo, that we have big projects potentially coming our way and we want to be ready for them. So yeah, that's where it is.
Yeah, I just want to thank you for doing that. Hope I was getting notifications. I know how much work that you've done, so I
Oh my
appreciate
God.
it. No, it's good. That we needed to do that, and I didn't, so I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, it's a lot. You got to take turns for sure. I would
So
also
yes,
say,
what do you expect us? Or what's the next level of contribution that team members can do? Board members, sorry. Hope, do you want
well,
us
my
to
understanding,
review
Michael,
or
is that
yeah.
we get it ready and then you have to send it to the mayor and whoever else does a final approval of it.
No, you get it ready. It has to go to plans review subcommittee.
Okay.
The one for West University is going to be reviewed tomorrow by the plans review subcommittee. So once you do it and you deliver that's your final draft, you will give it to me. I will send it up for review by plans review subcommittee. When it goes to the plans review subcommittee, you are going to designate 1 or 2 people to be your contact person. And that person will be the one presenting to the plans review subcommittee and answering all the questions that they may have. And then by the end of that discussion, both your contact person and the plans review subcommittee would have come up with what they believe is a clean copy that we're going to present to the director. And the director will forward it to the council.
How long does that process typically take? Like once we get it ready, how long does that review process take? Are we talking 1 month, 3 months?
I don't think there is any time frame for this. It just depends on when it comes in and the workload that we have to cover in order to get you to be reviewed by a plans review subcommittee. A plans review subcommittee, just like you people are doing, is not going to review it in one meeting. That will not be possible. So I cannot give you a definite time frame because the code does not give a time frame for this. So there's no code time frame on this. But we'll do our best as soon as it gets to us to get it rolling as quickly as we can.
Okay, here's another question. So Grace, I know you worked a lot on this. I don't know about Mitch, Paulo, and Philip. Actually, I saw comments from everybody. But I'm thinking you, Stephen, may not have taken a look at this since you joined. And it seems to me like you probably should take a crack at it and see if you see anything missing. I don't mean really to edit if you don't feel like doing that, but let's make sure we don't miss anything.
Okay, yeah, I have not, sorry, but I will.
Oh, it's okay. Take a look at the color section, everybody. I'm also not seeing anything on stories, like how many stories a building can have. Unless I missed it.
Well, that should be covered in height, in just the height, but I think. Because I don't think there is one exception I can think of, the old, oh, what's his, Jock's Place by on Meyer there, but anyway.
Desjardins? What?
Oh, yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's another one.
So Hope, like I'm going through this on my phone. Did you highlight those couple sections? I mean, I haven't gone through all of it. I looked at it when you sent it out or whoever sent it out.
You mean color and height?
Well, let me see if I can find something about the Adobe
Oh,
preservation.
that is still in there. By the way, before I forget, I think the height question is covered under compatibility
Correct.
and contributing property. I think all of us should look at those carefully. But I don't want to stack it. I'm not trying to influence here, really. I'm just wanting to make sure. You know, we probably all have things that pop to mind that we've thought of and want to make sure we cover. I will send a list. Sometimes they're noted in here of things that are missing, but I also kept a list. So when I send this, I'll send that summary to Michael. He can share it with everybody.
I need to go, but
Yeah.
Hope, are you going to also put your list of concerns in there?
If I will, and again, I still feel really new, but yes, I will do a little summary of what I've done, send it to Michael, and then everybody will have it.
And
Right.
if you want the board to see it within this time, you need to send it to me before Thursday, because after Thursday, I am gone until the new year.
Okay, I'll send it maybe even tonight, but probably tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay, so what I wanted to hope you're sending it out. Are we having a commitment of everybody reviews, or do we talk about, well, the next meeting is in January. Are we assigning tasks then once we have reviewed it, or what's the?
I think that's a good idea to come back in January and yeah, give everybody another month to do their assignment.
But then we need to make assignments now, right?
Yeah.
Except I haven't shared with everybody what's missing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a busy time. I mean, I'm going to be able to do all this, but if our next meeting is mid-December, mid-January, given the holidays, will people have time to track things down, give it a careful review?
So the meeting would be, was it the 13th of January?
It'll be January 13th. If it's not Martin Luther King's Day.
Yeah, the Martin Luther King is the 20th.
The 20th, yeah.
Okay. So your meeting will be January 13th.
So Hope, were you thinking we would distribute the list of what needs to happen after this meeting, meet on the 13th and say, you know, divvy that list up and then come back in the February meeting and have those items completed?
I mean, I think that's reasonable because even after, let me think, even after everyone contributes, Like there's, for example, a map of the Barrio Historico boundaries. That's not in there. The links to the guidelines are off. And there was talk of some kind of kit, but I bet we're not going to pull that off.
Yeah, that's
Someone
something Armory Park
suggested
did.
okay.
That's a holdover from that.
Yeah, there's an example of a deteriorating structure, so that would be like an image.
Armory Park is still working on there, so I don't think you want to use that as a good guide. They are still working on there. It's West University that is way advanced.
But then I also think, and I will take this on, it needs one more full edit. You know, I think I did a decent job, but really we want this perfect, right? So whoever wants to do that editing with me or on top of me, I think it's wise. So I guess what I'm saying is it's not that long of a list of things to add in, like photos and information. I mean, so Michael, if I sent this list and you sent it out to everybody tomorrow, can people reply back to you taking on different tasks? Like, can we be that proactive?
No, that has to be done within your meeting. They can just look at the way you come into the meeting. This is a standing item on the agenda. And then when it gets to that item, you guys can distribute the task. You cannot do that outside the meeting.
So can we do that right now, or is it too time
I think so. I mean, okay, if we want to do that, so I'll start. It's like 5 things. So the links. So the first one is the links to the guidelines. And Michael, it sounds like that might be you. I couldn't find them, which sounds ridiculous, but I had a little trouble. The second thing, a map. So Michael, can you take that one? Confirming the proper links?
From the city, it will be the public links that we have at the city. I can send the links that I have from the city, but I'm not going. I don't know.
I think we have to probably look for those specific links. I mean, I don't know. Can you share your screen?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, let's see.
I can handle the links side. It's kind of a lot of clicks to get here, but I do know where they are.
Okay. All right. So Grace, so you could do that and kind of fix up that section, remove any reference to a folder type scenario. That's on page 6 and 7. Okay. The next thing, let me see where I can find this. I should have kept track of pages better. The map of the Barrio Historico boundaries. This moment, I'm not finding where that needs to go, but it makes sense that we need to have it.
It's in the table of contents, and I think maybe not in the, oh yeah, here it is. It's on page 5. Insert map showing boundary.
Okay. Oh, good.
Would you guys be okay with just exporting that from the historic preservation map, or we could draw something? Those are, I guess, the options.
So it's better to export, right? For consistency, you know.
Yeah, just for consistency, please use the same thing that is already in the code.
Okay, so who has that?
We can do that here.
Okay, so Philip will assign that one to you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, page 14, example of a deteriorating structure. And I assume that would be a photo?
I can take that one.
Can you take one of your man cave here? You should take one of the old ones.
That's what I was planning, Philip.
Good.
See, I don't think I have that right page anymore, but I know we wanted to have that example, so. Okay, so I'm gonna give that to you.
Michael, can we just take a photo of a deteriorating building without exposing ourselves to liability?
I need to check with the city attorney on that. I don't want to, because if you put somebody's property inside without, there are a little bit of consequences for that.
Yeah.
We need to check with the city attorney to see whether it's okay to do that before we do that.
I mean, we could stick mine on here. I'm not going to sue any of the board members.
I'm a little bit very reluctant recommending using people's property for that. It's much more better to just use design or graphic to talk about how a property can be deteriorated and stuff like that. That way you avoid the potential for any lawsuit or something like that. So this same Barrio board was dissolved at one time and went for so many years without a board, just because people's property were mentioned and discussed during the meeting.
Yeah.
And it went through litigation and stuff like that. Nobody wanted to serve on the board. My advice would be for the board to please stay away from using people's property.
Okay.
So what do we do with that one? Just skip it?
I believe everybody understands what a deteriorated or dilapidated property looks like.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll find out where that is and remove that.
Page 14, you said.
I know, but now I can't find it because I think
Okay.
that was when I originally found it, and then when I put things, it moved. So I'll find it.
You can mention
Okay.
you can mention it in the verbiage without photos.
Yes, that's right. I'll leave any language in there. Okay, and then the final thing is the Adobe. Oh no, two more things. The Adobe repair guidelines that are meant to be on page 20, that are on page 24. It says to be written specific guidelines for properly repairing mud adobe and the appropriate stucco, include adobe types and distinctions. That's a lot.
I'll volunteer for that.
Okay. And then my assignment will be to review the structure, make sure it matches the table of contents, assign pages.
What about
I think
site
that's-
folder? I don't have the pages here. It says site folder is highlighted. Are we still doing this? Question mark, question mark. It's by the startup kit folder.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking Grace was going to tackle.
Okay.
I think this document is going to live on the city website, so I think we make sure that all the links that we're referencing are also hosted by the city. So it's not like, you know, if it's like I made a drive and then I'm not on the board anymore and I'm not keeping it up or something. So we avoid all of that if we just make everything city hosted, and I can
Yeah.
address that.
Yeah. Oh, and then one final thing on page 30, someone named Paul Horvat made some comments on chain link fence. It's like a comments that are on page 30 and 31, and I really don't know what he's talking about and how that needs to be addressed. So maybe somebody can
you bring those up, Hope?
look at that carefully.
And screen share it.
Yeah, let me see.
Maybe you can share your screen.
You did? Okay.
I do remember that there's a discussion with Paul about whether or not chain link fences are appropriate in the historic zone, and there was some debate about whether or not they're appropriate in the entire historic zone or just in El Hoyo, and whether or not we were going to make a distinction of that in this document, kind of between what's appropriate wherever you end up in the district.
Can you all see that, his comment there?
Oh, that's interesting.
Can you scroll down a bit because
Yes.
the
Let's see.
fences are described below? Yeah. Yeah. Front fence guidelines. So we need those. Oh. Solid.
I don't know. I mean, I don't see anybody in their right mind building a house today is going to use a chain link fence down here. So,
Which one is the front yard fence? Do you have that paragraph? Where's that? That one above? Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
there it
that's-
is. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So how is a chain link different than a looping wire?
I have no idea.
The chain link is a looped wire in a way, right? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that Mary Lou's language there, but it may be, yeah, moot point.
So it says here in the front fences that's allowed. Thus, it is allowed in the side and backyard street facing fences. Right?
So fencing should have decorative. I don't. I mean, I don't. I don't know what to say about that. I mean, Paul's comment. 5-digit phone number. That was that long ago, huh? 1947.
For these guidelines, I read it that chain link is allowed.
Which bullet point do you see that?
I look at front
loop?
fences, the first paragraph.
Mm-hmm. And looping wire were common.
That's where they describe the historic fencing, metal fencing, and then so what is compatible is things that are compatible to that kind of fencing. I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't be allowed. The question is, do we want to not allow it? That's but I looking, yeah. We could say it's only allowed for the side and backyards, Hope you guys have that, right? In the back, or is it all solid metal fencing? I
Mine
can't
is
remember.
mostly corrugated.
Corrugated,
That's
yeah.
what I call it, solid.
Yeah.
I mean, LOO has a lot of the chain link, and I think there
Mhm.
might be some on Convent and
Yeah. Our diagonal neighbor has it all around. So,
so I think we maybe just leave it.
mm.
What is this? So looking at
Good
that,
question.
the first paragraph. May feature a combination of front, side, and back fencing. And then it says maintain contributing wood picket or metal fencing. Is it a separate line? It's kind of weirdly written, like shit.
Maybe a bullet point.
Yeah, oh, I see. That is a bullet point. Okay. There we go. All right, you want me to just remove Paul's comment?
And leave the chain or leave the looped fencing, looping wire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's settled.
So is that all we have, those 4 items or 3?
I think so.
Okay.
So Michael, how can I want to make sure that Stephen and Darren know that the time to review this is this month before our next meeting. So how do we make sure that they get the link and kind of know it's a general assignment for them too?
Can we put in the agenda, Michael?
I'm right here.
It's okay.
What was the question? I'm in the office doing multiple stuff. Yeah.
Michael, this is like being a referee. You can't look away, you know?
You got me on that one. No, I needed to use the restroom, so I'm back with you.
To do so, should I still send you a summary of where things stand that you'll share with the larger group just to make sure that Stephen and Darren, I think they're the only 2 who are missing, know that this will be the month to take a sort of big picture look
Well, if you've already
before.
shared the assignment with people, you probably don't need to send it to me. If you think I need to share, then send it to me. I'll share it tomorrow. As I said before, if by Thursday I don't get anything, I'm not going to.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna send it to you soon. So, okay, so nothing specific has been assigned to them, but I still want them to have the opportunity to review it and look at big picture issues,
Look,
right?
we have another option. Either Paolo or I, when you send it out, we can write personal messages to one team member.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Yeah.
that's totally feasible.
Just don't
Yeah.
copy all.
Yeah, but you know, between 2 team members, you can have a conversation, you know, about asking them to review it until, I think either Paolo or I should do that then, you know?
Yeah, that should be the responsibility of the chair.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just Grace, sorry, it's just Darren, right? And Stephen.
Those 2.
Yeah, good. I'll do it, Paolo.
Sorry, Philip, what was that?
I'll do it.
Okay, you're gonna
Yeah.
do.
I'll follow up when Michael sends it out. I'll follow up to each of them, the 2.
Okay.
In a separate email.
All right, I'm gonna stop sharing.
I have one more question on this topic. If there's nothing to review on that Monday in January, Michael.
I have a project.
You have a project you already know?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. No.
So I don't know if I'll be at that meeting.
Me neither, to be honest. I'm on a plane that day.
Should we try to reschedule now?
It's a standard. It's a standard item on your agenda. So if it comes that day, both chairs are not. You can get somebody. The board can choose to get somebody to chair, or both co-chairs can designate somebody to chair the meeting that day. And if you choose not to discuss your design guidelines on that day, when it gets to that item, you can always move it forward. Or if you think that day is not appropriate and you're thinking of a different day, you can tell that we'll schedule for that.
So let's try to have the meeting, try to have a quorum. I think, Grace, are you available?
Yes.
You have been longest, I think, on this board and in boards in general, so I think you should then, you can chair it, that would be good.
Sure.
And then, look, whatever can be discussed, because it's, as Michael says, it's on the agenda anyway. And what cannot be discussed will have to be discussed in a subsequent meeting.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, are you all good, or shall we, to move to the next agenda item, or?
Let's move to the next agenda item.
Uh, Staff updates?
The only staff update I will have is the city is still looking for the historic preservation officer. They have not yet had one, so maybe sometime in January or so, they have a new historic preservation officer. And now the search is still on. And as I said, I have a project ready that you will be reviewing in January. That is the 58 West Kuching, the one that Chuck Meyer came to you for 2 courtesy review. I think he says that he's ready to come in for a full review. He submitted last Monday. I did not have the chance to look at the plans or anything, so I didn't schedule it for this meeting. But I think between now and January, I will have a chance to look at it. That is what I have, I believe, ready for January meeting.
That's the current yellow house, right? That used to be the
No, it's a blue house.
medical offices, or what?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
I think you two need to be at that meeting.
Well, I have to ask United Airlines to provide streaming.
Well, I think Hope was suggesting we move the meeting, right?
It seems like a big one.
I think that is a big one.
You can choose to move the meeting date. It's up to you. You let me know.
Well, it's difficult, right? Because Martin Luther King, we don't have to stick to a Monday, right?
No, you
No.
don't have to stick to a Monday. You just
Yeah, we
have to
could-
let me know. I have other boards and committees that you need to tell me the date. So
I would be available on Wednesday, guys, if that helps.
okay. I don't have any board on the Wednesday.
Okay. That would
That's
be then
Wednesday the 15th.
Yeah.
I would too.
Yeah, works for me.
I mean, I can try. I'm going to be in Europe, and I go to bed usually pretty early, so it'd be like 1 o'clock in the morning there for a meeting.
Oh no, that's terrible.
But I think if Philip can make it, I'm okay.
Yep.
And
Unless
I'll try to make it
when are you back?
the 28th.
Oh yeah. No.
So you want your next meeting to be January 28th and January 15th?
What can we do it the 6th of January?
I wouldn't be able to come on the 6th, but if everybody else
Oh,
can.
that's fine. I mean, I don't have to be there.
I could do it the 6th.
I could do it. It's also one of those late nighters in that case for me, but it's fine. Done this before, but I prefer the 15th if that works
you
for
can
everybody else. I mean,
The
Paolo,
15th.
on your end, it doesn't make a difference, right? 6th or 15th.
Well, I'm here on the 6th, but don't accommodate me. I
No, then we do a 6th. Yeah, but Grace can't do it.
Grace
then.
can't.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we have to
So,
decide.
I mean, I can
between
try and
Grace
make the
Paolo.
15th.
Okay. Yeah,
I'll
so
make-
let's give it the 15th, and then we have the chance to have both of you. Isn't that great?
That's
Let's
great.
do that. Okay.
Paula, you're never gonna make it.
I'll never make it, but I'll try.
I'll be drunk.
No. On a Wednesday, Philip, come on.
Come on, it's Italy.
Please. The recording is still on, please.
What's that, Michael?
The recording is still on.
Yeah. Sorry.
Michael, while we're talking about staff updates, were there minor reviews that needed to get done? I saw that in the LAR from last month.
I have a couple in I need to check, but at this point in time, I don't think we're going to do any on January.
Okay.
The way my schedule is, I'm the only one doing it. The way my schedule is, I don't think I'm out of the office from Thursday to January, so I don't think I'll be able to do it by now.
Understood.
Okay. So January 15th, Michael, right?
Yes, I got it.
Okay, good. Anything else, staff updates? That's it?
That's it. That's all I have for you.
Good, then, agenda item 7, adjournment. We don't have to vote on that, right? But we
No.
always do.
But we always
I
do.
motion to adjourn.
Second,
Okay, Mitch,
Yeah.
Grace,
Yes.
Philip, yeah. Hope,
Yep.
Paolo.
yes.
Okay, 5-0, motion to adjourn approved.
Thanks.
Bye,
Thanks,
everybody.
everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, have a good
Bye.
evening. Bye.
Thank you all. Happy holidays.